We begin tonight in Washington, where President Trump has fired the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erica McIntyre, following the release of a disappointing July jobs report. The report, which showed the economy added just 73,000 jobs, also included a significant downward revision of 258,000 jobs for the previous 2 months. The president claimed on social media, without providing evidence, that the report was rigged to make him and Republicans look bad. The move to dismiss McIntyre, a Biden appointee, has drawn sharp criticism from economists and business leaders. Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary told CNN, "You don't shoot the messenger." Even President Trump's own first-term BLS chief, Bill Beach, defended the agency's integrity, explaining that the commissioner doesn't personally collect or see the numbers until just before they are published, and that large revisions are standard practice as more complete data becomes available. He noted a 500,000 job revision occurred during the first Trump administration. Critics, including former Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, have expressed concern that the firing undermines confidence in the economic data that millions of businesses rely on. This action appears to be part of a wider pattern of the president using the powers of his office to settle political scores. The administration has also ordered criminal investigations into several figures from past administrations. Those under investigation include former FBI Director James Comey and former CIA Director John Brennan for their roles in the 2016 Russia probe. A criminal probe has also been ordered into former President Barack Obama for his actions in 2016, with President Trump accusing him of treason. This comes despite the fact that a multi-year investigation by special counsel John Durham, appointed during Trump's first term, concluded without bringing charges against these individuals. Additionally, the Office of Special Counsel is now investigating Jack Smith, the special counsel who brought 2 criminal cases against Trump for allegedly violating the Hatch Act. And in another move targeting a political predecessor, the president has ordered an investigation into pardons and other actions by former President Joe Biden, aimed at suggesting he was mentally impaired while in office. While the White House pursues these investigations, leaders on Capitol Hill are focused on a looming deadline that could bring the government to a halt. With government funding set to expire on September 30th, top congressional Democrats are urging their Republican counterparts to begin bipartisan negotiations immediately. In a letter sent yesterday, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries formally requested a meeting with House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune. The Democratic leaders wrote that they have a shared responsibility to govern for all Americans and work on a bipartisan basis to avert a painful, unnecessary shutdown. They expressed concern that the Trump administration and many congressional Republicans are preparing to go at it alone and legislate on a solely Republican basis, without a bipartisan agreement on the 12 annual appropriations bills or a short-term continuing resolution. A partial government shutdown will begin in just under 2 months, impacting federal agencies and services across the country. The Trump administration is also moving to reshape the federal workforce itself. The Department of Justice announced yesterday that it is ending a consent decree that has influenced federal hiring practices for more than 44 years. The decree stems from a 1979 case, Luovano v. Ezell, in which minority job applicants alleged discrimination. It went into effect across the federal government in 1981 and required agencies to assess whether their hiring tests had a disproportionately negative impact on minority candidates. In its court filing, the DOJ's Civil Rights Division argued that the decree limited the hiring practices of the federal government based on flawed and outdated theories of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The department also stated that the decades-old agreement imposed draconian test review and implementation procedures on the Office of Personnel Management. The termination of this decree marks a significant reversal of long-standing policy and a major step in the administration's efforts to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion programs within the federal government. Meanwhile, the use of race in government policy is also set to be examined by the nation's highest court. The Supreme Court has announced it will consider whether the creation of a second black-majority congressional district in Louisiana is constitutional. The justices, who previously heard arguments in the case last March, have ordered attorneys to focus on this specific constitutional question in an upcoming hearing. The outcome could have sweeping implications beyond Louisiana. A ruling that strikes down the district could force lawmakers nationwide to significantly scale back the use of race as a factor in the redistricting process. The decision could also impact the delicate balance of power in the U.S. House of Representatives, where Republicans currently hold a very slim majority. The disputed seat in Louisiana is currently held by a Democrat, making the court's eventual ruling a matter of intense political interest. Finally, tonight in Public Health, a former lawmaker is calling on the new administration to tackle what he describes as a crisis of illegal nicotine products. Former Republican Senator Richard Burr, who now chairs the Coalition for Smarter Regulation of Nicotine, alleges that the previous Biden administration failed to stop a flood of illegal, Chinese-made e-cigarette products from entering U.S. markets. Burr claims that inaction by the FDA under President Biden allowed a massive illicit market to flourish, endangering both adults and children with unregulated products. He is now urging the Trump administration, including Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the new FDA commissioner, to take urgent action to restore order. However, a spokesperson for the former director of the FDA's Center for Tobacco Products, Brian King, disputed Burr's claims as not consistent with the facts. The spokesperson pointed to dozens of enforcement actions taken in 2023 and 2024, including interagency task forces, operations against illegally imported e-cigarettes, and blitzes targeting brands popular with youth.